You're listening to the Back Porch Talk podcast. Danny and Jason had many discussions and debates on the back porch while making pivotal investment moves with assets. That's right, with trading cards. They welcome you to the back porch and right into those discussions about current sports news with a fresh and unique twist. So come on and join us. Welcome to the Back Porch Talk podcast. I'm your co-host, Jason.
Your co-host, Danny.
Fans, we have a full show for you today, but before we get into it, y'all know what to do. Go ahead and like, subscribe to the show. Tell your friends about it. We need all the subscriptions. We need all the viewers. They need to hear what we got to say. Danny, we got a full show. Listen, little football, little basketball, little baseball. I would say this is one of the best times of the sports year when all the sports just about are really just running on all cylinders. But Danny, right into the NFL and where, oh boy, Green Bay Packers, they go ahead and do it against Pittsburgh Steelers. 35-25 is the score, but it wasn't that close. The Steelers, they got a late touchdown. The game was already decided, and you got to give some props to Jordan Love, man. 29 for 37, 360 yards, 3 touchdowns at one point, completing 20 consecutive passes, tying a Green Bay Packer all-time record with none other than Brett Favre. Aaron Rodgers didn't even do this. So this was a game that Jordan Love just completely was up for. Dominated 35-25, Packer win. And looking at the stands, you saw a lot of Green Bay Packers fans. And it was beautiful to see in that you had, of course, Pittsburgh Steelers fans. They travel extremely well. Green Bay Packers fans, they travel extremely well. You have two great all-time franchises going at it yet again. And the Packers prevail. Aaron Rodgers, 24 for 36, 219 yards, 2 touchdowns, sacked a few times. Something with the Pittsburgh Steelers defense that's got to get, resolved there. But I would say for the Packers in their offense, the rushing attempts with Emmanuel Wilson was more productive, 11 carries for 61 yards. Josh Jacobs had 13 carries, 33 yards, and a touchdown. I think Jacobs is dealing with an injury there, but nonetheless, Emmanuel Wilson came in and really kind of helped save the second half for us. The other game of note here, Danny, for the weekend, but one other game I would say I was looking at in terms of just being kind of just mindful here, because one of the games that the Packers ended up tying was against the Cowboys. And I was curious, I was like, are the Cowboys that good? The answer is no. Their defense is not that great. Yet again, 44 points or a high number, 30-plus points put on the Cowboys defense, 44-24 against the Broncos. I didn't watch the game. I just paid a little more attention to the score here because I just wanted to compare. The other game that, and we got to start giving this team some props here, and that is of the Indianapolis Colts, 38-14, beating out the Tennessee Titans. Colts are 7-1, man. Got to give props to do. And Daniel Jones, man, you talking about a resurrection of a career. It's something about the Giants that just reeks of just bad, bad organization. I don't know, but it seems like when you leave the New York Giants, your career takes off. Daniel Jones can attest to that. Saquon Barkley can attest to that. Saquon Barkley went ahead and got him a Super Bowl ring. Against your divisional rival. So Daniel Jones, 21 for 29, 272 yards, 3 touchdowns. Taylor, 12 carries, 153 yards, 2 touchdowns. You have to really start thinking about Taylor being the MVP candidate. I mean, 12 carries, 153 yards. Come on, man. You kidding me? Daniel Jones has another, good game here. So kudos to them. What say you, Danny, about the NFL week?
First, Jay, for your Packers, big win for them. Jordan Love definitely came to play, but I will say that the Steelers defense helped the Packers out last night because there were a couple plays. I'm like, man, what are these dudes doing? They couldn't tackle. I thought I can't even talk about my. I'll get to my boys in a second, but the Steelers couldn't tackle, man. They like Tucker Kraft. There are a couple times on some busted plays, one being offensive pass interference, so he showed it push off on that 60-yard catch. That they still couldn't tackle him,
No.
even though he did that. I don't understand it. So it's not typical Steeler football, and they need to get that fixed quick because granted, Cincinnati blew that game yesterday to the New York Jets, but they're right behind them. The Ravens looked halfway decent yesterday against the Bears, even though Lamar Jackson did not play, which it sounds like he may be playing next week, but or this Thursday, but we'll see because the Ravens had some shady reporting on their injury report this past Friday with Lamar Jackson, so they may be in trouble with the NFL. But yeah, Jordan Love came to play. Tucker Kraft on National Tight End Day did his thing, man. So it was a big win for them, and they got to Aaron Rodgers. They put that pressure on him, and the Steelers. The other thing too, the Steelers kicked a lot of field goals in their first half, where they
Mm-hmm.
couldn't. Packers defense held them. If they scored touchdowns, it may have been a different game. But yeah, y'all second half, y'all came to play. So good win for y'all. And then from the Falcons standpoint, Jay, we take this L and to the Miami Dolphins 34-10. And Jason, if you remember last show, what did I say? This game smelled of upset slash trap game slash whatever you want to call it. And show did. We had Tua out there with one eye, throw for 4 touchdowns, 200 yards. To lose at home like that was despicable, man. Kirk Cousins started, Penix being out. But our run defense, we are banged up on the defense side of the ball, like a lot of other teams are. And our tackling was atrocious. Achan, Ollie Gordon, they just ran all over us. And then the secondary didn't do much. It was the Dolphins looked like the old Dolphins yesterday. And Bijan had 25 yards rushing. Drake London did not play, but there were plays in that game, man. Key plays where the defense had a roughing call after the whistle where they could have stopped him. There was a 15-yard penalty first down, and they go and score a touchdown. Kirk Cousins had Mooney wide open a couple times, overthrew him. It was just a comedy of errors, and I'm not sure, man. Raheem got me on the hot seat. Now, he's not doing all of this because he's not playing the game, obviously, but you got to start to wonder, man, because you don't want to waste his talent. It could have been an aberration with Kirk Cousins starting on short notice with Penix getting hurt, and Kirk Cousins hasn't really played. Drake London being out. But they have a big game next week on the road against New England.
Yeah, we do.
And New England is playing great. And that is
They
not the place
do.
you want to be going right now, the way their defense is playing and the way Drake May is playing. So, big game, man. We'll see how they respond. But that was just a total dud from you have a team coming in getting whooped by the Cleveland Browns, and then they beat up on us like they did at home.
And then to add to that, just like you said, you're at New England, but then you're against the Colts.
Overseas.
It, yeah, and not only that, but you're against the Colts. You get a little. I don't know if this is a cushion because then you start going into the division.
Hmm.
You get the Panthers, and then you're at the Saints. Now, Saints just have a down year, but at the same token, the division rivalry can spur some things up, man. And then you're at the New York Jets, the Seahawks at Buccaneers. So and then at the Cardinals, against the Rams, you wrap up against the Saints. Y'all got a tough schedule. I would say Raheem is on the hot seat, man.
Uh-huh.
I don't. I think if the Falcons don't get into the playoffs, I'm not calling for anyone's job. There may just have to be a reevaluation of the state of the Atlanta Falcons, and not only that, but of the roster.
Yep.
So we'll see. But there's opportunity to turn the season around. There's opportunities here.
There are, but you can't blow games like this, Jason, at home.
No, no, exactly. Especially to a 1-6 team before the game. So, and then right into some World Series talking where the Los Angeles Dodgers ties it up against the Toronto Blue Jays. They beat out the Blue Jays on Saturday, 5-1. And man, Yamamoto goes for a second straight complete game. I wonder if the Dodgers were just a little rusty coming off of a long, long delay for a week, not
Mm-hmm.
playing ball. I mean, I wonder if they're just a little rusty. We'll see come tonight because right now this is going to be interesting. You have the next three games in LA. Anything can happen. I picked LA before the series. I'm still saying LA. I think initially I said LA in five or six. Sticking to that prediction. I'm leaning more towards six. But I think based upon if the Dodgers win tonight, I may very well change that to five for the Dodgers. What say you, Danny, about the World Series?
Jason, Toronto needed that game on Saturday night. That would have been nice for them going up 2-0 heading into LA. But now they're split and this is tough, man. Like you said, it's three games in LA. And LA is going to want to close that at home. Big matchup tonight with Scherzer versus Glasnow. And you look at Friday night, man, it was like we talked about in any other series with the
Mm-hmm.
Dodgers. You get to their bullpen,
So bullpen. Yep.
magic happens.
Yep.
They got to Snell, they got to the bullpen. Sheehan came out, which is one of their starters usually during the year, but they got to him and they did their thing. But yeah, Yamamoto was dealing on Saturday night.
Mm-hmm.
He he has to be. I know Otani, if they win, will probably get the MVP, but he's got to be a close second because for him to do what he's been doing and stay, not coming out the game and throwing the way he has been, big game tonight, man. I think this game tonight, the Blue Jays have to at least put up a fight.
Mm-hmm.
Not to say they have to win per se, but they at least got to put up a fight and make it an interesting game. Because if they fold tonight, then yeah, it's going to be a wrap. But if they can win tonight or at least keep it close, then I can see them going back to Toronto for at least one more.
And Danny, I'll say this: that second game reminded me of what we experienced.
Mm-hmm.
Dominant pitching. We didn't get to the bullpen. And looking at the box score, I mean, Toronto only had 4 hits.
Yep.
And that's more hits than what we probably would have gotten. Maybe probably I think we only got like maybe 2 hits, maybe three.
Yep. And they did have an opportunity, Jay, where the bases were loaded.
Mm-hmm.
And that was what, in the first or second inning, if I'm not
Mm-hmm.
mistaken. And if they were to convert it there, then this game may have turned a different direction, but they didn't score. Yamamoto got out of that.
So what this is telling me though, Danny, is what this is showing me is the Brewers aren't that far off. And that's why I really want to see what happens the next three games here
Mm-hmm.
in LA because if the Blue Jays don't get a lot of hits or a lot of runs, to me that's just it's just a dominant LA Dodgers team. We, the Brewers, aren't far off.
Mm-hmm.
We just need to maybe do a couple of things similar to the Dodgers. We need to go out and get a bat and say, you know what, we're just going to pay you $2 million per year for the next 10 years, and then pay you an exorbitant amount of money thereafter. Let's stretch this contract out, man. Let's get some bats. Let's get some arms. Let's get some pitching.
Yep.
I mean, that's what the Dodgers are doing with Otani.
Hmm.
It was like $2 million per year for the next 10 years, $68 million per year thereafter for 10 years. You kidding me? That's a great contract. And that allows the Dodgers to get more resources, more bats, more arms, and
More
they can stack
revenue.
more revenue, and they can stack their team.
Yep.
I think it's a brilliant move. Now, I'm wondering what the Bucks ownership, excuse me, what the Brewers ownership are going to do moving forward. And I'm wondering if they're thinking too that we're right there with spending the least amount of money.
Hmm.
But I think the move is not to go ahead and trade Peralta. What other pitching do you have who can
Yep.
go an extended period of time? And if they get rid of Freddie, that to me is just an indication they're going to go with the same strategy, bullpen strategy for a couple games in a series, and then maybe get somebody to go 3, 4 innings. That's it. Maybe
Yep.
start somebody off the first inning, bring somebody in, second inning, depending upon the matchup, whatever the case may be. Then have the bullpen come in. The rest of man, that is no way going to get us over the hump. So
Mm-mm.
I don't know, but Dodgers doing it right, man. And now Danny right into NBA basketball where there's been a whole lot said last week. I mean, obviously the NBA season started. You had the likes of NBC coming back after so long being away, if you will.
Hmm.
Not only that, but just the way the NBC has set things up, especially during halftime with playing clips of Jordan and Mike Tirico, their interviews and such like that. I think was real good spin, real good spin. I think also too with I can't say NBA on TNT any longer, but NBA on ESPN that started up.
Hmm.
It seemed like their old selves,
Yep.
you know, good TV. But then the controversy for the NBA this past week was that of two separate but yet related instances in where you had a few members of the NBA community get arrested. Stroud, Billups, and Damon Jones were amongst 34 people, including Terry Rozier, who were arrested last week uh, due to potential connection gambling. One side, Billups allegedly was involved in high stakes poker games, and seems like Terry Rozier allegedly was involved with sports gambling. I have to say this, Danny, about the whole situation. I hope that these individuals are not addicted in any way. I just hope that this was allegedly a one time rare occurrence type situation here. I will say this is a stain on the NBA right now because that is going to really heighten the awareness of consumers, consumers of the NBA product and the NBA on court product, NBA off court product, that being, gambling, being legalized. You hate to see this, especially at the beginning of the season, where you just had so much that went right on
Hmm.
the board for the NBA, man. I mean, the Bucks are looking pretty solid. Edge Cone from the Philadelphia 76ers. Oh boy. You talk about somebody who is ready. I mean, I'm hearing some comparisons to Dwayne Wade with the 3 pointer already. With Edge
Hmm.
Cone, that says a lot. I mean, you just have so much Wimby.
Yeah.
Man, it was just so much right happening on the court for the NBA, man, that this news was like, come on, man. Y'all gonna
Mhm.
drop this at the very beginning of the season? The NBA started off like a rocket on the court. What say you, Danny?
I agree, Jason. The rollout of the NBC, Premiere, Peacock, you had Amazon Prime on Friday night do their thing. Nice little setup there, like you mentioned with the inside the ESPN team, Barkley and Shaq and Kenny and EJ. That went well. Like you said, on the court too, you had Shea Gilgeous, two first time ever with two double overtime games. OKC was
Mm-hmm.
involved
Mm-hmm.
in.
Mm-hmm.
One was on the premiere night,
Mm-hmm.
uh, and the second one was against the Pacers on, I believe, the Thursday. Like you mentioned, Wemby. It was great to see the NBA back, and the newfound chances of teams and opportunities to make their push towards the playoffs. There's obviously some key injuries in the East, which you've hit on before with Halliburton, Tatum, amongst others. So just imagine, just to see how these teams respond, and we just, LeBron's out and Luka's now hurt. So how are the Lakers going to respond, with those injuries? But it was tainted by that news, the alleged gambling, and there's heightened awareness already. And gambling is interwoven in these games now. Whatever pro sport you have, there's all kinds of advertisements going on for betting, live betting, prop betting, the whole nine. And then they made the announcement about the NCAA players being able to bet on pro games. So there's a lot going on here that
Mm-hmm.
Vegas is because they
Mm-hmm.
don't want their bad to get taken, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they're
Mm-hmm.
watching this closely. And I think the problem is with the Rozier piece is the NBA exonerated him more or less, and so now that popped up again. But the NBA is only can do only so much versus like the FBI, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you just hope that it's contained to these group of individuals, uh, and it's not a bigger thing that's going on behind the scenes. So there's a lot still to be learned on this story, but it was not good because the Trailblazers actually played the Timberwolves. Really, they played close
Mm-hmm.
before Billups, was arrested for all these allegations. So it stinks that way, but it's hard until you really see all the information and what this all means. Everyone's gonna just throw an umbrella or a blanket on the NBA, but there's other sports out there that you know something may come to light that you just don't know. But like I said, I'm just hoping it's contained,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep.
and we'll see how this progresses. But if the NBA is going to continue to do their thing, and until something else may come out, I think it's just going to be one of those things that's just lingering in the background, and until something else arises or whatever the case may be, people go to court or whatever the legal process is. But I am looking forward to that Bucks Knicks game tomorrow night on
Yeah. Yeah.
NBC.
Mm-hmm.
They're the first game, and they'll be right there on prime time, and we'll see how they respond. Like you said, so far so good. They had a tight game with Cleveland yesterday, but we'll see how they play against the Knicks, and then the Lakers play again tonight against Portland.
Mm-hmm.
Austin Reeves last night, by the way, at 51. So that was a great response with Luka being out. So we'll see how the Lakers can hold ship while their two major stars are out.
Then he right into a little Formula One where this past weekend Formula One was in Mexico, and let me just say that this driver championship is coming down to the wire. We have four more races left in the season. And between Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri, it's only a 1 point separation with Lando Norris currently on top.
Hmm.
This is going to be close. And let me just say, I watched this race. This was a pretty interesting race. Unfortunately, Sir Lewis Hamilton, he did start number 3 on the starting grid. Ended up getting a 10-second penalty, which basically decimated his race. This thing with McLaren, if they're going down to the wire between Lando and Oscar, is going to be interesting. Max is still kind of lurking
Hmm.
point wise. I mean, anything can happen in these last 4 races. The Constructors' Cup is equally as close. More so though between Ferrari and Mercedes and Red Bull, and where McLaren's going to win. They've already won the Constructors' Cup. Ferrari's in second, only ahead by 1 point against Mercedes. Mercedes is only up by 10 points against Red Bull. So there's still a lot left to prove here. So we'll see. And that Constructors' Cup, we're talking about multi-millions of dollars potentially going to different teams or being awarded to different teams depending upon how they finish. So we'll see. What say you, Dane, about Formula One?
Great race by Lando Norris this week. The closest guy was Leclerc, and he was 30 seconds behind in the finish in second. Crucial, Piastri has had a couple bad instances these last couple races where, he's falling back to the pack, picking the wrong time to kind of fall apart. But there's still a lot of time left. There's,
Mhm.
like you mentioned, 4 races remaining. They go to Brazil next. And then Vegas is right after Brazil. Verstappen, he's just hanging right back there. And one slip up by McLaren, and he's right in that race because he's in
Yeah,
third.
yeah. Anything can happen, man. Because I mean, it
Yep.
could be maybe the McLarens go for the first corner and they
Yep.
both spin out or whatever.
Exactly. That's happened. That's happened. That happened last race. I'm just curious to see how this plays out, man, because middle of the season it was kind of like, all right, McLaren won, McLaren
Yeah,
won.
yeah.
Now there's some action going on, like you mentioned with
Hmm.
the Constructors Cup side.
Hmm.
There's these teams that are kind of middling that could make an impact in these last 4 weeks because they're going to make that push. So we'll see how these teams respond and how they may impact these top 3 drivers
Hmm.
for the season.
And Danny, this one other mention here regarding college football, and where the big news for today is the removal or the dismissal of Brian Kelly as head football coach for the LSU Tigers. He gonna get paid though. That buyout package is something else. I want to say it's like $54 million. Yeah, that's crazy. But LSU will be looking for a new head football coach. Um, Lane Kiffin reportedly is being heavily touted as the number one person. We'll see how that all shakes out. I mean, you got other opportunities like I believe University of Florida
Hmm.
that may be available there, but nonetheless, this is going to be interesting. What say you, Danny?
Man, it's a good gig if you can get it, man. These coaches and these buyouts are crazy, but now with NIL, the boosters and these universities and all this money flowing, results are you got to be on it. It's not like back in the day where you had a lot of time to kind of work through some things. There's too much money on the line with these deals, and the buy to just buy somebody out for 50 million is wild. So I'm curious to see if this is his last stop or if he moves on to like a smaller university and kind of builds his way back up. But it wasn't happening in LSU, man. He was, each week it was a battle with the media, with the questioning, and
But then it's been like that with him for a while, even when he was
yeah.
with Notre Dame.
So I didn't know what he was expecting in LSU. I'm like, these people are huge fans, and there's a lot of money there. You're getting paid. You
To
better
win.
bring it.
Yeah.
And so you can't be, acting like that. But they moved on, and we'll see, man. I'm Lane Kiffin. I don't. He has a lot going on in Ole Miss that is like, why? Unless there's something else there, another way, purpose he has for coaching. But
LSU.
yeah, I know it is LSU, but Ole Miss is right there.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it'll be curious. I'm curious to see what he does. But Brian Kelly, man, I don't know what he was expecting, especially this year, man. You can't be losing the way you are and the money they've paid him and, provided to the team.
Mhm.
So, like I said, this is going to be something going forward. That's what surprised me about Indiana giving their coach that 10-year deal for, was it 90, 95 million?
Something like that, man. It's
It's
crazy.
like, really? So I don't know. I don't know if the contracts are going to change, like the duration, and they may be front loaded. Yep. I don't know if they'll be front loaded or not, or how they're going to change this. But these, I don't see people going to keep. I don't see people interested in to keep paying these coaches out, buying them out like this.
Thank you for joining us at Back Porch Talk Podcast. You can also join us on Twitter by tweeting us at back_podcast. For more information, you can go to our website, which is backporchtalkpodcast.com. You can also email us at backporchtalkpodcast@gmail.com. Again, thank you for joining us, and remember that there's enough hate in the world, so go ahead and spread a little love.